Hi guys, I hope you guys are well. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a very realistic budget that you can work with should you decide to visit Ghana. If you haven't seen my previous video, I shared a couple of recommendations that you guys might be interested in if you're somebody that comes here on the regular and has already done all the touristy places like the Kwame Nkrumah Museum, like the Kakum National Park, the Elmina Castle, all those things. These are other places that you can explore. So make sure you check out that video. The link will be in the description box below. Anyways, let's get right into it. So the first and most important thing you probably be concerned about is accommodation. So with regards to accommodation, it really depends on where you want to stay and what kind of accommodation you want to be in. For me personally, I generally prefer Airbnbs because there's that flexibility. You can eat out if you want, you could cook at home if you want. It really depends. But if you want a hotel, obviously that's also an option, and then you can just eat at the hotel if you prefer. But in terms of Airbnbs and short stays, you can budget anywhere from $40 minimum all the way up as a single individual. You can definitely find an Airbnb around about $40 per night. That's the minimum that I've seen. They might be cheaper, but I think if you budget $40 a night for accommodation as a single person, you will definitely find a decent place to live in that is not too far from central Accra, given that most people that come on holiday prefer to stay around these areas. I have showcased Airbnbs that range all the way from $40 a night to $180 per night. I'll link all those videos in the description box below, and I'll put the pricing next to them so you guys can check it out accordingly depending on whatever budget you're working with. The next thing that I want to talk about is food. Most of the time, if you come to Ghana, you're obviously going to want to try different foods, try different restaurants and things like that. Generally speaking, most decent restaurants, you need to have at least 400 cedis to be able to get a decent meal and a drink as well. I mentioned a wide variety of restaurants in my previous video, so I'm not really going to go in depth in this one, but you can check that out. Anywhere from 400 cedis per day for dinner is a good budget to work with. If we're going to include lunch and then breakfast and all that, then I'd say budget at least 600 cedis per day for food if you're going to be eating out the whole time that you're here. While we're on the topic of food, I'm going to mention groceries as well, because as I mentioned, I've shared places that are Airbnb, so you get a kitchen and stuff. So if you decide to cook, then you have that option. If you want to do groceries and maybe, let's say, make breakfast at the apartment, a budget for a single person who's on their own for groceries, I would say 400 Ghana cedis is a decent amount. 400 cedis per week translates to about 60 cedis per day for groceries. So there you go. Okay, so with regards to bars and clubs and those type of things as well, there's a wide range. So you can go to ones that are really chill, where it's not too expensive. It's just some outdoor bar. You can sit down, have a drink, have some kebab, and you're good. Places like Purple Pub, Republic, those places are quite chill. They're not too expensive. And a place like that, I feel like if you've got 300 cedis, you can do it. You can have a decent night. But then if you want to go to the clubs that do the bottle service and all those type of things, then you have to have at least 2,000 cedis when you're going out. So it really depends on what you want, but there is a rough estimate of how much money you would need on you. One little thing that tends to help, I guess, is beneficial for you if you're a girl and stuff like that. Most of the time in Ghana, people like to spoil people. So if they don't know you, they can be really friendly and they might pay for your drink or something like that. You still need to be careful though, because you don't know who's buying your drink and who's paying for it. But generally speaking, people are generous like that. If they meet you and they want to be your friend or something, they might pay for your drink. But still have your 2,000 cedis ready if you want to buy a bottle. The other thing I'll mention is transportation. So if you want to rent a car, generally speaking, it's a minimum of about $70 per day for a car, depending on what kind of car you want. If you want like a saloon car, then it's a lot cheaper than if you want a 4-wheel drive. And if you want to do Ubers are very accessible, very easily found. You can do Uber, you can do Bolt, you can do Shazi, you can do Yango. Those are the 4 options you have there. Depending on where you're going, I feel like it's a bit hard for me to tell you what what it's going to cost you to use an Uber, but all I can say is it's convenient and it's accessible. But I find Ubers are a little more reliable than all the other ones, but you can have your own experience and then see how you go. If you have your own car and you want to buy petrol as well, currently it's about 15 cedis something per liter for petrol. I find this to be the most convenient way of moving around, and it's the cheapest way to move around as well. But at the same time, driving in Ghana takes a lot of getting used to, so you have to be aware of that as well. Or you can have your own car, buy your own petrol, and then pay a driver to take you around as well. That's also an option. Again, with that, I can't really say. I don't really know what drivers charge to provide that kind of service. If you want to do all the touristy stuff, I'll mention a couple and I'll let you know what it costs. So the Black Star Square is free, Independence Square is free, the Art Center is free to get in, but if you want to buy something, obviously you have to pay for that. The new Kwame Nkrumah Museum is 20 cedis to go inside. The Labadi Beach is 20 cedis the last time I checked. I haven't been in ages though, so please don't quote me. I told you nothing is online in Ghana, so everything you have to be there to find out yourself. The last time I found out it was 20 cedis. The Elmina Castle is 20 cedis to go inside. The Cape Coast Castle is 20 cedis to go inside. It's all very reasonably priced, so it's not too expensive. So the other thing that I wanted to give you guys a bit of a budget on as well is if you want to do a little bit of shopping to take with you, obviously that depends on what you want to buy, but if you want to do basic stuff like souvenirs, beads, African prints, those type of things, I'd say a good 1,000 cedis is a decent amount. You can get a lot of, maybe not a lot, but a couple of prints for that, and some beads and those type of things. The beads generally go for like 30 cedis per string, and with the cloth, because they have so much variety and different prices for every variety that you pick, I can't speak for that as well, but I'll say 1,000 cedis can do a good shop for you. So if you want to explore the shows and the events, you know, where the Ghanaian musicians are performing and those type of things as well, generally the tickets range from 150 cedis for, you know, general admission all the way to, you can have bottle service in these places as well that, you know, can go all the way to like 5,000 Ghana cedis per person. So it really depends on what kind of holiday you want to have and what kind of experience you want to have and what your budget allows. Another thing that I want to talk about is, I know a lot of women, when they come, they like to get their hair braided, they want to do their nails and those type of things as well. It really depends again on what kind of salon you go to and that type of thing. But if you're going to get your hair braided, generally, depending on where you go, but if you go to an average place, you can get it for maybe 350 cedis including the hair. And then if you want to do your nails as well, that depends. If you want to do like acrylics, it's usually about 150 Ghana cedis depending on where you go, but that's generally the minimum. And if you want to do like soft gel tips, then that's a little more expensive, so you can budget at least 350 cedis for that. So that also depends, but I hope that gives you a rough idea of what you would need to spend if you want to do beauty related things when you make it out here to Ghana. Anyways guys, I hope you guys have found this video useful. I hope it's giving you a rough idea of how much money to budget for your trip to Ghana. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow your bliss, so now life is short. Follow your bliss na nipa yeden. Follow your bliss na de besi bia ye, and follow your bliss na de na emada. Take care guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.